Oh, what happened? Okay, so I have to get this off my chest. Um, I've never really thought of myself as like a particularly like well-off person. You know, never thought about myself like that. This Christmas is the first Christmas in my whole life that I was like hungry the entire time. Normally during Christmas, there are like multiple, and I can just speak for my own family, right? Like, I realize not everyone is like my family, especially the more that I go out and interact with people. But usually there's like cookies, pies, fruit at the very least. A lot of people make like fruit tarts or have, fresh fruit out. I just went and spent the week with half with Jackson's mom and the other half with his dad, but we stayed primarily with his mother, and it was awful. Like, I cannot, it was so awful. And I can tell that she like really overextended herself. She used to be very fat, and now she's very thin, so she just doesn't eat. And as a person who was mad skinny for years, kind of with the same formula I ate, I would have like one really big meal a day, but that was it. I thought I was being slick. And so this like old woman is doing that same thing. I had such a mediocre Christmas. There were some things that went great about the trip. I'm not going to talk about that because I'm not pissed off about that. And even some of those things were fucking weird as fuck. But anyway, what I'm talking about, which is just like the cherry on the shit sandwich, which is Christmas Day. Christmas Day in my family is a super big deal. And even Christmas Eve, we always have a nice big meal. My mom always makes breakfast. My mom always makes breakfast and it's like pretty much the same from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day. My mom makes a big meal. Everyone hangs out. We open one gift on Christmas Eve, just one. And then my dad makes something really nice for dinner, something really filling and good for dinner. And then and my mom will make us something, normal for lunch. Usually we want like tacos or, I don't know, pizza, sandwiches, who knows, all kinds of different things. But it's always like a nice big filling meal. There has never, and I have been thin for many, many years of my life, and there still has never been a time where I can remember being hungry on Christmas. Never once fucking happened. We might have had periods where we didn't, like, the summers were hard to make ends meet, but my dad is not a loser. My dad is not a gold digger, schlub kind of a female. Sorry. So like that, he would not. Christmas is so important to him and to our whole family. So I've just been sitting over here like raging for days because I'm like, I cannot believe that this shitty as fuck Christmas, this is what these people have gotten every single year, and they're cool with it. The only reason their Christmas is tolerable is because their dad buys them a good amount of gifts. But the mom cannot cook. She made brunch on Christmas Day. Not breakfast, brunch. So she skipped. She normally, at least in my fucking family, my mom would make breakfast and lunch, and then my dad would make his big fancy dinner, right? She skipped. She combined those meals into one, made a very mediocre brunch, and then, yeah, like, she had her son grill steak. On Christmas Day. There are so many customary Christmas Day foods. Just throwing some steak on the grill like it's just a fucking barbecue. I was so offended. Yep. So then literally didn't eat until like there was food on the table. wrapped up, of course, which I've never been to a party where I'm serving guests and you put the food out and you just leave it wrapped up on the table for hours. No one came to unwrap it. And I'm not at work. They kept trying to treat me like I was going to be their hired help. I'm your guest. And I look forward to being the guest. I like being the guest. I like that. I want to do that. I like hosting people, but I'm not fucking hosting. And I'm certainly not going to play this like, oh, I'm the host and the guests, but I can help out sometimes. Like, no. We're not doing any of that shit. I'm just the guest, and here's my baby. So this fucking bitch, brunch. She makes brunch. Okay? Very mediocre brunch. And literally for the whole week, I'm just chasing my daughter around. Just chasing her around while Jackson does fuck all. Talking to his sister. I mean, like, openly, like, panting after her, salivating after her. There's so much sexual energy between them. It's disgusting. And, they're just hanging out. And that day, I'm like, hey, is there food? It's at like 3 o'clock, because I'm just, like, delirious. I'm like, this can't be real. God bless you. I've never, on Christmas Day, at 3 o'clock, you've already opened your presents. You've already had lunch. You're ready to go hang with your friends and fuck around and do some fun things. We were literally still just sitting there. It was torture. Nobody called. The kids that were supposed to be there, she just let them take their sweet ass time. So we did not open any gifts. And I have a baby. Like, mind you, like, this is all of this is, you'd think, like, we were waiting because someone was coming over with their kid. Nope. I just sat there with my baby, entertaining my baby, who's just like, what the fuck is this? This is what Christmas is. Lame. You don't open presents. Like, you open presents Christmas morning and then you do stuff. Nope. Not when you're visiting fucking Jackson's family. You sit around. They all slept in until 11 on Christmas Day. Never seen that in my life before. Never. There was no the whole time I had to make everything for myself. I'm not sure. It was just like being at home. There was no Christmassy component. When I go see my mom makes a pot of coffee. A pot of coffee, not a fucking French press, which has 2 fucking cups of coffee in it. Get the fuck off my dick. Like, there was no hospitality. There's no food in their house. No food. She went and bought a bunch of milk and eggs and then stuffed the fridge so it looked like that was in there. There was no food. You couldn't just open up the fridge and be like, I'm going to make something. It was like living with, like, a boy in college. Like, it just, I don't know. It was so fucking depressing. I love Christmas so much. And having, like, a Christmas like that, everyone slept until 11. My chasing my kid around, and then when everyone gets up, oh, you were really loud this morning. It's fucking Christmas. Like, what are you talking about? Like, how are you sleeping in until noon? Not opening gifts. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. I've never had a Christmas like that. And I never will have a Christmas like that. Just absolutely awful. What else? Not eating until like 5, not opening gifts until 5, no one really everyone taking pictures of my kid without asking, no one sending me any pictures, them creating a group chat, not including me, the grandma, like, mentioning that she, like, choked my baby and then just, like, moving on from it. I had a horrible headache the whole time, like someone had hit me in the fucking temple, right? And so I said as much to Jackson's mom, I'm like, wow, I feel like someone hit me in the head. And she just looks at me. And then 2 days later, she's like, oh, I'm going to tell you the story of how I broke up with my boyfriend. Basically, he showed some pictures of her naked to his friends. He got blackout drunk and she beat the shit out of him and then moved out. What? Never fucking met, like, bitch is crazy. What? I'm sorry, what? All of her kids are absolutely fucking train wrecks. None of them work. None of them have any skills. Maybe one of them will by the end of this. But as of right now, none of them are up and running in their 20s. Uh-oh. Okay? And then she literally tried to blame his friends for why he has an attitude problem. He acts just like his mom. especially after being around his mom. Oh my god. I, me, I, me, I. My grandma used to make fun of me when I would fucking be talking about myself too much, and she would just do that, and I'd be like, oh yeah, you're right. That's all that woman talks about. If you talk to her about the weather, her children, nope, she's gonna end. She'll say a sentence about whatever it is you're talking about, and go right back to her. I mean, if I had known that, like, usually when you go visit other people, you have conversations about other things. My God, Jackson's mother is a bore. When you go to a party and there's just one person that's just fucking talking about me, the whole fucking time, you're just like, good God, go away. And her complaining that she, like, didn't get invited to the parties, like, well, who wants to just talk about you? No one. You're boring as fuck. Like, even if you're the greatest person ever, no one wants to just sit there and talk about you. Like, get the fucking... just crazy. And then you add into it that Jackson, like, wants to bang his sister. So that's, like, the thing behind it all. So the whole time, he's just hovering around his sister while I'm just, like, exhaustedly trying to keep Brooke awake. And then on Christmas Day, Brooke wouldn't fall asleep, right? So then she just pretty much, like, cried for, like, 4 hours, from 1 until 4. Instead of taking a nap, she just cried. So then we fell asleep, you know, and then I think we woke up, like, 8, and then opened up, you know, gifts, and it was just the most fucking miserable Christmas. And I had to be thankful for that. I had to tell his mom, thanks for going above and beyond. Like, she doesn't do anything, so that for her was above and beyond. Which is so depressing. You think she would fucking, like, put a little extra effort in on Christmas. That's her effort on Christmas? Oh my God. And can you imagine being just in your 50s and looking like a fucking, like, a wet bag that was left outside? Like, how does that happen? How do you let that happen to yourself? Like, what? No wonder you're fucking obsessed with your kids, because you're like, oh, she looks like the crypt keeper. Anyway, absolutely, like, would not recommend going to Albany, being affiliated with any of those people. What a fucking nightmare. Jackson has maybe 1 or 2 friends that are, like, decent, and they don't want nothing to do with him. It's just so depressing. I just have to get the fuck away. This is like, it's just so sad. That's what happens when you marry someone, like, clearly Jackson's mom pretended to, like, really love his dad, and then, like, actually didn't, because that's all it is. I don't need Jackson's money. I don't need anything from Jackson. I just need him to be fucking nice to me, and he, like, cannot do that. He acts just like his mother. I need sleep. Like, I've never in my life seen a grown woman sleep until the middle of the day. The only other woman that I knew that did that was a fucking scammer. And, you know, I did not want to be like her. She would always try to give me all these parenting tips, too, and I would just be like, what the fuck? Like, I'm helping you with your kids. Why are you offering me parenting advice? All of her kids are compulsive overeaters, right? Because she's an extreme orthorexic. There's nothing in her house that isn't, like, healthy and natural. So what do? You know, you just go get fast food and you come home. There's nothing you can make. There's nothing in the freezer. Like, she had little notes written on everything. Don't use this, like, for her frozen fruit that she planned on using. Like, it just, everything she did was so low effort. I would never invite people over and do that for them as my guests. I might do that by myself. I might make, like, a frozen fruit yogurt parfait. I would never offer that to guests. That's, like, a nice little thing you do for yourself. All of the things that she made for us were, like, I can't believe it. The one thing, Jackson asked his mom to make a curry chicken, she didn't do it. He asked her to make her pesto chicken, she didn't do it. There was nothing about this trip that was like, oh, it's so yummy. Because her best dishes are her taking a baked chicken, okay, And he's been telling me his mom is such a great cook his whole life. His mom's a terrible cook. My mom has never made something like that for me as a meal, ever. My mom has never once taken a baked chicken and mixed it with pesto and said, here you go, have a pesto like, that just never fucking happened. Anytime my parents have made meals, it's like a baked chicken, it's a piece of pork, it's a piece of ham, it's fucking, you have a big piece of meat and vegetables. There's none, like, I cannot tell you. And it's like, doesn't have to be that expensive, right? But you get a big piece of meat, everybody can have some. It's honestly more affordable to do it that way than whatever the fuck she was doing. It was honestly just the most embarrassing Christmas. I'm so annoyed that I had to go and be polite and act like it was great. The Christmas day itself, that's what really matters. It doesn't matter if, you know, all the other stuff. I like Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve was nice. But it wasn't like my Christmas Eve, nothing. And the fact that I was fucking hungry the whole goddamn time, that I woke up hungry over and over again, wow. Like, just, the bar is so low.